two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about a choice put forward by our good friend Boris.
Sorry.
Why don't what film you subjected us to this week?
Yeah, this week I chose the movie Lilith from 2018, which I announced a while ago I was going to pick it, but then I kept changing my mind, and I thought this time I should finally pick it because I had announced it at one point. Although in the meantime I had watched it with some friends of mine, so I wasn't sure if we really needed to do it, but it was announced already. So yeah, I figured out why not. So it's a movie directed by Alexander T. Hwang, if I pronounced this correctly. Written by
it's actually had quite a few films out there in the indie hemisphere. Not all of them have been entirely recognized or whatnot, but
I wonder why.
Although, if I'm not wrong, wasn't it some of you guys who originally told me about this movie existing?
I didn't. I know I didn't.
I don't watch these indie horror movies. You people do.
Okay, then maybe I mixed something up. I somewhat remember someone telling me about this movie existing.
Yeah,
I didn't.
probably your numb
I'm aware of it existing now, and now that I've watched it, I will probably never watch it again. But
at least you own it.
I don't even know. Well, I didn't download it yet because I wasn't sure. So I watched it on Tubi.
Yes, folks, this movie is so bad that even Dave doesn't want to own it. That tells you something. Run and hide.
It's not one that I would relatively jump out to go and get. No, but.
Okay,
I'm trying not to badmouth it too much because we need to give it a chance for discussion.
You got it for free to download, and you still don't want to download it. So that says it all.
Jeez, you guys weren't shit talking that movie Head of a Tyrant as much as this one.
Well, that movie was...
Well, because I knew that movie was going to be a piece of junk. This one I thought maybe might be good. Unfortunately, it sucked.
I didn't know that Head of a Tyrant was going to be almost like entirely stock footage. Entirely.
I knew it was going to be garbage, and I was right.
I like the storyline of the Head of a Tyrant, just like
you would.
Like the idea behind Lilith. But let's go into first impression. Well, let's go into what IMDb says about the film.
Yeah, so it was, like I said, directed by Alexander T. Hwang, if that's how it's pronounced. Written by Richard J. Aguirre, Alexander T. Hwang, and Paul McFall. And it stars Felissa Rose, Thomas Haley, and Michael Wainwright. And the synopsis says, a horror anthology follows the demon Lilith, who punishes men for their indiscretions against women. Lilith is a figure in Jewish mythology developed earliest in the Babylonian Talmud in 3rd to 5th centuries. And Lilith is a dangerous demon of the night and who is sexually wanton. Okay, so Some of you guys have kind of already said your first impressions, but okay, let's start with you, Dave.
Well, let's first strip it down. Well, uh, I guess the guy had enough balls to at least get a name in his film, which Lisa Rose. She is from the horror franchise Sleepaway Camp, and she's been a prominent scream queen in many different horror films. So those of you who recognize her from Sleepaway Camp, you do get the best that you can get from Felisa Rose, and
Who's that?
that's the main
Uh,
demon that the cop is chasing down with the priest.
the version of her who was tied up when the cop and the priest were trying to deal with her.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was supposedly the wraparound,
Yeah.
which there wasn't much of a wraparound to begin with, and you saw you saw her all of maybe 5 minutes tops. You know,
More or less, yeah.
and that to me was disappointing enough. The rest of the Lilith are different faces to different stories, and I guess the best one that I can even remember is the serial killer one towards the end. But this was not a good watch for me. Maybe it was the acting. None of the actors seemed like they knew how to act. It was like their first time, and even so, some of them did not exactly try to act. I mean, the only one that seemed to try to act was that one that acted like that friend whose friend hung herself, and
Who?
that's pretty bad. To say that's the only actress that acted like she was acting, and besides Felissa Rose. Okay, so at least that's my thoughts on it. And today, my mind was blanking on what I actually saw yesterday because I could not remember anything except for the serial killer. I had to be reminded on IMDb about it, and that's bad for me because I normally like independent movies, and I normally like, most
You
of
know,
what's
I
out
like
there.
shit movies.
Well, to be
And I
honest,
couldn't tell it was an anthology until it was doing the different stories. I didn't, you know, it kept
uh,
it kept changing without rhyme or reason. So
Yep. It made it very confusing. So I realized it was an anthology. I'm like, okay, this is an anthology. Didn't make it better, but
okay, what about you, Tammy?
Uh, well, like the master was saying, it was a little confusing until you realized it was an anthology. But once you realized it, it still was somewhat confusing. I thought it was a little slow and a little boring. Sorry.
Okay.
I guess I was expecting a little bit more with it being about Lilith. It wasn't exactly what I expected.
Ah, so you expected more of a story about her rather than so much focus on men doing shit and getting punished for it.
And it's like he only had
Women, women.
enough time paid with Felissa Rose that he barely got any screen time with her. So he had to ask whoever would jump at the a chance to play Lilith for each of his stories, you know. So
Huh. Well, who knows? Okay, Tammy, do you have anything to add about your first impressions?
No, not really. I'm sorry, hon.
Okay. What about you, Crow?
First time watch, last time watch. Yeah,
uh,
it was slow, boring, uh, repetitive. Um, like Dave said, I hate to agree with Dave, but I agree with Dave. The acting was bad. Um, Bianca's friend, um, I can't. I think it was Amy. I don't know. Yeah, she was okay. Um,
April.
April, okay, but she got punished too. So it wasn't just men that were being punished because she got punished as well. So and as far as the girl that hung herself, I'm sorry she hung herself, but she was fucking a married guy, so she wasn't exactly an angel either. Um, there's no there
Ooh,
was no there was no real likable characters in the entire movie. Kind of felt bad for the dad, I guess, the cop, and especially what happened. But other than that, there was no memorable characters. Um, you know, I do have a scene I liked, or a couple scenes I liked, for different reasons. But other than that, this movie was pretty much a waste of time. If you haven't seen it yet, don't bother.
okay, well, to be honest, like I said, I watched this movie before a while ago, and I did kind of have bigger expectations from it too, but I didn't really think it was that bad as
And
much as.
I had way better expectations considering it was called Lilith, and I know the real story of Lilith, and it's very interesting. But even if they wanted to go off on like a Lucifer style version of Lilith, it would have been much better than this. This was
I
just
could see if Melissa Rose actually played the entire thing and then she changed into those people like uh, at will. But to me,
it would have
seems
been better.
yeah, it would have been better if Melissa Rose had showed up as Lilith through the entire thing.
I mean, I don't know who she is, but she did have a
Uh,
little bit of acting
the
involved.
the woman who was tied up by the cop and the priest,
Yeah,
she's Felissa Rose.
I
Yeah, she's
know.
been in a lot
They
of
said that,
independent
and
movies. I guess we'll have to watch. We'll have to. You know what? That's probably going to be my next movie, Sleepaway Camp #1, since um, it's the first movie that
and
she was
how's that
ever in.
getting a bad taste out of you, Mo? Picking the same actress that's in it.
Well, because it's a lot better movie.
Okay, but it's still the
Sleepaway
same
Camp.
actress.
Let's see. Now you got me curious. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Sleepaway. Oh, with also with Felissa Rose. Okay, now I'm curious.
That's what we were
From
just talking about.
night.
Was her first role, to be honest. So, honestly, I'm curious to see. I know Tammy's watched it with me once before, but we'll talk about that at a different time.
Yeah, true.
Let's continue on this trash bubble movie.
Uh, yeah, so my first impressions were, like I said, I also had somewhat bigger expectations, but I didn't find it quite as horrible as you guys apparently did, and also since, especially you, Dave, since I know you like B movies, otherwise I didn't think you would find this one so bad. I mean, it's very common in B movies
There's
that
very little
actors
that's redeemable in it, and
that
I'm really trying to redeem a few things. You know, I'm
uh,
stretching when I'm talking about the good things in it. The good things.
The sex episode with girl, she had nice tits.
yeah. Well, to me personally, since I knew it was a B movie, and in B movies, it's actually very common for actors not to be acting like professionals. I didn't really have that much of an issue with the acting. Now the story, when you put it all together, it maybe does feel a little bit pointless in the end. But if you observe each story as a standalone, I don't really think it was that bad. Each story did kind of have at least something interesting. Uh, in the okay, I guess we will do one by one, so I won't say everything right away. But yeah, I found it like I said. Uh, I did think it was going to be better, but I also didn't find it that bad. But yeah, so I tried to find the movie on Wikipedia, but apparently it doesn't have an article where we can go by a written summary of the plot. So
No, but there is a review on IMDb where they actually kind of go through the good stories and the bad. It's rather lengthy. The good stories: young love after meeting up with her crush. A scored student commits suicide when her pregnancy reveal is renounced and their relationship dismissed when no one else can help her. When her friends decide to exact a paycheck, they find their plans interrupted by a spirit seeking revenge for his actions. Overall, this was a pretty solid beginning to this one, according to this review. Um, the early setup for the various characters, from the way the girls managed to exude their goofy, laid back relationship together against the guys, and their back and forth banter sets up what's going on rather nicely. Once the result of their tryst and betrayal is learned, the shock and grief that emerges for them to attempt to pull off the plan they do is sound enough to see what they were trying to do, or that they were trying. The results, teen chases and encounters as her supernatural revenge offer up the kind of fun rampage that's highly enjoyable with some decent deaths and indie gore spread throughout here for a fun time. When the finale is rushed to where it seems to end just as if it was generating some fun, it's not much of a drawback to be had here. According to that review. What do you think? Is that a good summary of the first one?
Mm, well, kind of, yeah. Although one issue I had with the first story, or I mean the whole story in general, but it all comes back to that first story because it's about the daughter of the cop. Throughout the whole movie, he was apparently blaming Lilith for his daughter's death, which didn't make sense to me. Lilith didn't kill her, as far as we know. The girl killed herself, and Lilith was seeking justice for her. So, why exactly was he blaming Lilith?
If you actually saw, even though it was still sort of confusing, each of the different like things that were going on, he was involved in the criminal aspect of it, in the aftermath of each the situation. He was always the detective showing up at the scene, and
Uh,
they saw the written note.
I,
And
I,
well,
I know that, but as far as I understood, what was motivating him was the idea that Lilith was the one who had killed his daughter, and as far as I know, she didn't.
As far as I know, it's possibly Lilith that she called upon that killed her to begin with, because in order to keep her soul or whatnot. I mean, she turned into Lilith as the revenge spirit or whatnot, and then Lilith killed her by killing herself. So,
Huh.
so
Okay,
Lilith
I don't know,
was the
maybe.
cause of her death.
Yeah, as far as I understood,
But it was a little mysterious as to how and why she became Lilith to begin with.
well, yeah, but at the same time, how did Lilith get involved with those other cases?
Just assuming that Lilith just kind of piggybacked and
Who the fuck
possessed her,
knows?
her to help her.
Yeah, I guess.
But Lilith is also kind of a trickster. So in tricking her to help her, she ended up hanging her body and killing her, bringing her soul with her. That type of thing. You have to assume a lot of it, but
I ain't
the
making an ass out of you and me.
don't you agree, Ron, that that's kind of what happened?
I don't really know what you're talking about, so no.
I'm talking about that beginning scenario.
I know what you're talking about as far as that, but I don't know what you mean other than that, like taking her
Look,
with her and stuff.
Dave thinks, even though we didn't see it on screen, that after Brooke was let down by everyone, that she was the one who summoned Lilith, and as
She wasn't let down by everyone. She was only let down by the one dude. Her friend was on the phone with her and said, "Don't do anything. I'll be right there." She tried to help her, and then she killed herself.
Okay, yeah, true.
And then suddenly, she came back as Lilith. So
well, Lilith was taking the multiple different forms. So I guess in this case she took Brooke's form because she was seeking justice for her. So she wanted to take the form of the one whose death these others were kind of guilty for. In a way.
Well, to me, when it comes to demons and Lilith and all that jazz, you kind of have to go down to a crossroads and summon the demon or summon Lilith somehow, some way. So I think she summoned Lilith somehow by her death.
Wait, when did they ever say that Lilith was a crossroads demon?
Well, they didn't say that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, at least they didn't say it in this movie.
Or anywhere ever.
But it's very possible she could be summoned.
But she wasn't.
Yeah, she just showed up. Like how did Lilith know to show up? I mean, I guess it doesn't really
mysteries that were left unsolved.
I guess Lilith just shows up when revenge is needed.
She shows up whenever the fuck the director wanted her to show up.
Yeah.
And doesn't explain it to anybody else.
Nope. which is a problem to me. A
I agree.
script, a thing in the script that should have been explained.
Oh yeah, that much I do agree with. But
I would hope so. You're the one who usually says it.
uh, to me personally, at least, this first story had a little bit of suspense during the
Oh, I agree. It
confrontation.
definitely had more substance than most of the other ones.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it did.
I mean, it
yeah.
started off okay, but I was just thinking, wow, there's absolutely no one here in this cast that I care about. Like, I mean, the friend was okay, but of course, she's trying to get money. I mean, yeah, she's saying he has to pay, but she's still trying to get money. So she's not obviously a great person.
Oh
The
yeah.
would-be boyfriend was kind of a douche. The girl was a slut that frankly, she was fucking a married man. So whatever.
Well,
I don't feel bad for her at all. The married man teacher was an asshole for sleeping with his
Yeah, he
students
was kind
and
of
cheating on his wife.
well. To be honest, I could kind of understand the younger boy. I mean, he hoped for a relationship with her only to find out that she was having sex with someone else. I mean,
Okay.
it's
really cared about her.
That's fine, but he still didn't need to be such a dick about it. He was a
Correct.
complete dick to her about it. Obviously,
Yep.
she was upset.
He called her a slut, and his friend called her a slut. So if he really fucking cared about her, he would care about her feelings and
Yeah,
what
he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He was more worried about his feelings than hers.
Yep.
okay, yeah, that's kind of true.
So
Exactly true.
the next story is the caretaker. Arriving at a nursing home, a strange woman begins to treat her disabled client, who's somewhat put off by her resemblance to his deceased wife. Although,
It was his wife.
as time goes by and he realizes the demonic intentions behind her visit, he realizes what he needs to do is get her to leave him alone. This was a solid and enjoyable effort. The setup involving their unease with each other about her appearance is an intriguing touch, much like the eventual reveal about who she really is, and what she's there for is her especially when these factors lead to far darker buried secrets that cause some fun brutally in what's going on. That is that this is generally dialogue based could cause some discomfort here, since there's not much going on until the ending reveal. So this has the potential to be quite slow going for this kind of build-up, although there's still a lot to like, according to that review. Do we agree with that?
No.
Well, personally, I was somewhat intrigued by the mystery of what that man's crime was, because we were
It's
seeing
obviously
him.
the murderer.
And honestly, I don't mind the actor there. I don't mind that actor because he wasn't a bad actor. At least it was believable to me.
He was believable, but it was boring.
It was boring. I agree. I'm just saying there was some acting ability within that guy.
Yeah, although in the end I didn't quite understand, I must admit, what exact answer did Lilith need from him and why?
That he was ready to die and go to hell because of his contract with the devil. Because he made some kind of contract with the devil, obviously.
He basically made a contract with the devil, and it wasn't her that he made the original contract with.
Yeah, that's what I understood.
And she told him it's impossible because she's in heaven. Well, so what do you want? You want her
so
to be in
then,
with you?
he decides that even though he loves his wife and he says he's a changed man, he wants to rip her out of heaven and brought into hell just to be with him, proving that he really is a scumbag and hadn't changed, and therefore she killed him.
but she's okay with that deal, and she gives him that deal.
Well, she doesn't give him the deal. She says it, but she doesn't. She just wanted him to say that so she could kill him.
Yep.
That's
He kept acting like he had changed, and she knew he hadn't changed, and she got him to admit that he hadn't changed. That's what she wanted. She wanted him to admit that he hadn't changed. I mean, it was somewhat clever, but in a book it might have been okay. In a movie, it was boring.
Just the way that it came across with not that much action, you know. So.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end, I guess it's up to interpretation whether she really did something for that guy's wife to be sent to hell to be with him, or if she just said it.
I guess it's up
Tricked
to
him.
interpretation, but it makes perfectly sense to me that she just wanted him to admit that he's a scumbag.
Oh yeah, yeah. That would actually make more sense to me as well, because I guess it would take a demon more power to actually extract a soul from heaven just like that.
The next story is concerning lust, where there's a young man who is addicted to porn, gets caught watching it, and then the girlfriend leaves him for Christian camp. Well, leaves a little angry and tells him, asks him to join her there, but then a buddy of his tells him about a special freaky chick.
Yeah, what kind of buddy is that? Jeez. With friends like that, you don't need enemies.
Wait, sorry, what was your issue with the friends?
Well,
he introduced her to a girl he could fucking get killed by.
Well, they didn't know, I guess.
He didn't know that that the chick was going to kill him. All he knew was
well, how come
that
he didn't get killed? He's a
freaky
fucking
chick.
adulterer too.
Well, later on, when Lilith came for that guy, she was talking about his friend in past tense, which kind of implies that she did kill him eventually.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, she did imply that she did do something to him, but she said she was looking for that special kind of guy.
Yeah. Personally, that story, I kind of thought the premise was stupid, like that the guy's wife was making a big deal out of him watching porn, as if that was as bad as adultery. Like, he's not cheating on her just because he's watching porn. What the hell?
Actually, no. He had cheated on her all the time with a bunch of different women. So for him to watch the porn, to her, it brought up all his infidelity.
Yeah, he did cheat on her in the past, but why would porn have to mean anything about that?
Because it's a different woman and not his wife.
I think because he was doing the porn, she thought he was gonna cheat again.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what the woman thinks, because that's what a lot of women think.
Yeah, so
you're not a woman, you wouldn't understand, and I mean, I'm not a woman either, but I understand.
Yeah.
Although you're probably closer to a woman than I am. You wear dresses, I don't.
I somehow knew you were going to mention that.
I didn't know I was going to mention it, but kind of popped in my head and I said it.
Okay. So then, of course, we have a serial killer who After stopping on the side of the road, a man abducts a stranded woman and takes her back to his place in order to continue his brutal torture and dismemberment. When he's about to finish his work, a stranger appears that threatens his perfect plans. This was rather impressive and enjoyable segment. The swarmy attitude and manner he was talking about during the abduction is a fun way to set off the red flag about what he's going to do. Well, the calm and collected means he portrays while torturing his psychologically managed to effectively paint him as creepy without being over the top about it. When the twist occurs, he's forced to confront the very kind of treatment he inflicted on others. It's quite enjoyable, leading to the fantastic reveal of the new demon in the room. It's not nearly as graphic enough as it could have been for the kind of storyline that goes on, but it's not enough to lower the segment. And I actually kind of agree with that one.
I actually agree too.
That one was actually the strongest segment.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes. Like that was actually like him getting what he deserved was good.
Yeah, that much is true. Although, to be honest, I somewhat liked the killing in the previous segment too, because not sure if you noticed this, but that guy who was watching porn when he was killed, Lilith made his corpse look like Baphomet, which I thought was an interesting touch.
I didn't know.
So according to this reviewer, the bad story was the wraparound, which they call the showdown. After capturing a legendary demon, a cop and his priest friend decide to conduct a dangerous exorcism to free the spirit within her and stop a rampage she's carried out by taking over the bodies of other women that need...
None of that ending made any fucking sense at all. She said, "Oh, you broke the circle, but she was already chained up and locked up before he even ever put that in there. Before he put his blood in the holy water, before he ever formed it. So how is she trapped then? But then suddenly when he came over, not trapped anymore. Made no fucking sense at all.
They're basing it on being within that circle of salt.
Listen, buddy. They didn't show any salt. They didn't have any salt. They just had the bottle that he kicked over. And they said, "Oh, you broke the circle," which is true. If you break the circle, the demon can't get out. I don't disagree with that. But there was no salt shown. There was nothing shown that there was any kind of circle. Just showing that the bottle that he had put in afterwards was tipped over.
She said you broke the seal.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know what exactly the seal was.
What it referred to was the salt circle that should have been around her, but there was no salt. And there was only that bottle that they showed that he had knocked over, but that bottle had been put in afterwards. So there should have actually been a circle that was preventing her from being able to, just like in if you ever watch Supernatural, a lot of times when they capture demons, the demons couldn't move, or even angels. They did it with angels too, like they're seals to prevent the demons from leaving the circles. They're called traps, devil traps, or angel traps, or demon traps.
Yeah, actually, I remember that.
But yeah, they didn't even show anything like that, even with the priest and his setup.
Yeah, I mean, the movie could have been,
really make sense.
Even with the storyline that it had, it could have been way better than it was. I mean, the storyline it had is I think kind of weak for Lilith. It could have been any demon. It could have been any demon. I think it would have been better if it wasn't Lilith, because Lilith gave it higher expectations, at least for me, and I think for Tammy and Dave as well. We had higher expectations for the movie because it's called Lilith. If it was just any demon, maybe our expectation, it still would have been junk, but at least it wouldn't have been higher expectations.
Oh, that's an interesting point, actually.
I thought so. So I said it.
So the starting point here with the capture at the facility among the various stalking and cheesy ambush scenes gives this a great start, but the resulting interrogation and torture tactics are usually interrupted by the switch into the next story to be told. Rather than set up for sure how she's carrying out the revenge, it sticks to the idea of him coming upon the bodies after the fact, which is only revealed once you begin to question why he's showing up at the crime scene, since the confrontations don't make it known that he's aware of anything. The rushed finale could have been more fun, but is over so quickly it robs a bit of its power, keeping this one down from what it could have been. So that's what. And I agree.
I agree with that to a degree, but it's still, I mean, it could have been a lot better if they had, actually added a little bit more to it. Yeah. And made it make sense. Like they should have they were really lazy with it. They were very lazy with it.
Yes, I agree. And knowing how this wraparound was set up, don't you like mine better?
I haven't seen it, so maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
And I'm not in it, so
it's a wraparound that continues into the second act, so, which will eventually.
I'm sure it's better than this.
But
of course, it doesn't say much. But
at the end of the day, I think we are at the end of the film, and I am so glad we are.
This was quick.
It's probably going to be a short one, but
well, the movie was an hour and 20 minutes, and it sucked. So what more can we say?
So, what did we think about the production? Tammy, what did you think about the production overall?
No, I'm not exactly sure what to say.
Speak the truth.
I really wasn't impressed with much of anything. So, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
The segment where she gets the old guy to finally admit, that one was, staff production was alright, I guess. But
what about the production of it?
I guess it was okay. I mean, there wasn't anything that was spectacular or whatever. I didn't think, So
none of it was green screened. A lot of it was practical effects, and the only practical effect that I saw that actually looked somewhat okay was the makeup or mask that was on the original Lilith, Felisa Rose, that jagged looking.
At the beginning.
At the beginning and at the end, you saw her wearing that thing. That looked wicked.
That did, yes.
That's the only redeeming quality of the production that I can see. I mean, everything kind of looked like either a basement or the inside of a house, or something that you and I could have just picked up a camera and gone to the next door neighbor and filmed a couple of scenes with, but lazily. I didn't realize it was an anthology until it was a different face of Lilith, So
it took me a little bit longer to figure that out. I was still like, what the fuck? I think it wasn't until the third segment where I was like, oh, this is an
It's
anthology.
because it just kept continuing, like as if there was
I get it.
no.
I was just fucking confused.
Yeah. It didn't make itself aware that it wasn't.
I'm not usually confused about things. I'm usually the fastest one to pick up things, but yeah, that just left me confused.
Okay.
Now,
What about you, Boris?
well, I'm not done, so
Okay.
we could go with me first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Crow, go ahead.
So, yeah, as far as production goes, I'm not quite as bad as you guys with production. I think the blood scenes weren't so bad. The killing scenes weren't too bad. They looked realistic, somewhat realistic. I mean, obviously you can tell it wasn't real, but for a B budget movie, it wasn't that bad. I've seen way worse on this channel. So
Exactly.
and the lot the last one where the guy gets she rips the dude's heart out and she's holding it. I mean, they could have shown it pumping a little bit. That probably would have made the scene even better. That the heart was still like pumping. And I don't think it would have been that hard to do. I personally can't do it myself, but I don't make movies. But that's despite them not having it pumping still. That I think that was kind of a cool scene.
Even in the very beginning,
that was
police
kind of
are
that was kind of cheesy with the amateur thing.
plastic legs.
I
You could tell
I wasn't as impressed with that as I was with the rest of the movie. Not impressed, but you know what I mean. Like it was. I'm not gonna hold like that. That was probably the best part of the movies was they did put a little bit of effort into the blood scenes.
I will say it is very hard to create an anthology entirely directed by yourself.
I don't care about that. Like if you go and do it, then do it right. Like he was just lazy with a lot of it and rushed, like they said, and it could have been a lot better. And he used, I don't know if you want to say beloved character, but a well-known character that people have expectations on, and he blew it. I mean, it still would have been a shitty movie and he needed something else, but at least we wouldn't have had those expectations
even
going in.
Lisa Rose is looking back at this one and was like, "Why did I do that?"
Probably. And at least she was smart. At least she was smart enough not to do the entire movie and only did a little bit of it. But yeah, every actor has movies. I mean, hey, if you want to hear something really fucked up, Sir Alec Guinness would consider Star Wars his movie that he didn't want to do and probably looked bad on. But as much as I loved his acting, I think he's kind of a jackass in real life for what he said about it. But
sorry, who? Can you repeat the name, please?
Sir Alec Guinness,
who played Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars.
In the original.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, he shouldn't have been ashamed of that.
I agree, but that was his personality, and he thought he was better than Star Wars, and he's a English pop tart. What can you say?
But in any case,
yeah, my thoughts about the production, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page with Kroll about the production regarding the fact that it's a B movie. I think the production wasn't really that bad, especially the blood scenes. They were quite well done for a B movie, and like I said, I especially liked when it comes to blood. I especially liked what they did in the third short with the guy who was watching porn. Like I said, she made his corpse look like a Baphomet statue. I went to pick my Baphomet statue from the shelf to demonstrate it. If you remember, she put a goat mask on him, although they failed with the torch on the forehead. That mask didn't have that, but she did pose him with one hand up, one hand down, the legs crossed. And she even stuck something on his torso to make it resemble this piece. I think she put, I don't know, the knife or whatever, but yeah, she added something to resemble this. And yeah, Baphomet is a very famous satanic symbol, and many people mistake this figure for Satan himself. So
Okay, I thought that mask was interesting, but it's just bad acting all around in that one, so I couldn't really fully.
And of course, the horns doesn't come from Bahamut or from Lucifer at all. It was stolen from Pan, from pagan god. So
yeah, actually, the original. Okay, maybe original is not quite the word, but the sketch of Baphomet done by Eliphas Levi, if that's how his name is pronounced, which eventually became this satanic symbol, and it's what that picture is what we think of when we use the term Baphomet. Yeah, he.
well, you do. People that don't know the truth.
Wait, what truth?
That it was stolen from Pan. Pan is a goat god, and that's why he had horns.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish what I was going to say. On Eliphas Levi's sketch of Baphomet, it's a mixture of various deities. Some of it was based on the testimonies of the Knights Templar who were forced to falsely admit some idolatry, and they were describing the deities they were supposedly worshipping, which they really didn't. But Eliphas Levi was doing some research on that, and he was mixing the elements of their testimonies with some other deities, and yeah, this Greek god Pan was one of them. So yeah, the Baphomet sketch was based partially on the Greek god Pan. That much is true, and it's not a secret. But yeah, many people mistake Baphomet for Lucifer or Satan.
Right, but Lucifer, the picture of Lucifer was done way before Bahamut, and had already stolen it from Pan.
As far as I know, there was before Baphomet existed. I'm not sure there was any depiction of Lucifer with horns, or was there?
There was.
Huh. Okay, if you say so. I don't know. I thought the idea of Lucifer having horns originated from people mistaking him for Baphomet.
Nope, completely from Pan.
Okay, maybe I was doing some research on it a while ago, but not that deeply, and yeah, maybe I didn't remember all the details. Maybe you're right.
Well, you maybe read the wrong things.
Well, I'm not going to argue either way. I'm just going to assume either one of you are right. So let's go into. I don't think there was really any music per se. I'll check.
Yeah, I didn't notice much music either.
Might have helped.
Yes.
Well, sometimes they do have music or whatnot. Okay, music was done by two different people, Ellie Helnwine and D.A. McCormick.
I guess it didn't help then.
I guess Ellie Hwang is a composer of some sort. I'm not seeing anything that I've seen, but looks like he's been a composer of a lot of things. Nothing that I've actually seen. A lot of short films. But D.A. McCormick, I guess he's been part of a few things that the other guy was part of. A little bit. Sunshine, Girlfriend. Oh, The Philosopher. He was a composer for that movie, which I liked that one. Looking backwards, seeing if I see anything. Nope, The Philosopher is the only one that I recognize him from. So let's go into favorite characters and our favorite scene. Let's start with you, Tammy. Did you have a favorite character or a favorite scene?
Not really.
What about a favorite scene?
I guess the beginning when she's walking around with that mask on, I thought that was kind of cool. That was
Okay,
about it.
that's fair. Heading over to you, Ron, or favorite character and or favorite scene?
Well, I'll reiterate, there was no characters to care for, except a little bit for the cop, for the dad. Was okay. I mean, the actor wasn't all that great, so it was hard to care for him. But, and then the final scene was the only real decent scene. And of course, the sex scenes were all right. Because, all the sex scenes. And the chick was good looking, so, yeah.
Okay, what about you, Boris?
My favorite character, well, yeah, I admit that there aren't many characters to really care for, so I guess I will go with Lilith, even though we didn't really see that much of the version of Lilith we normally imagine, as you all have said, but yeah, I guess I would pick her. And favorite scene, well, I have already said I really liked the kill with the guy being turned into a Baphomet figure, but I also liked the death of the final villain in the fourth segment, which we have already mentioned, because that guy really deserved it, and it was really cool how Lilith turned all his shit back on him, like when he said to that woman he was torturing, "There is no God here, only me." Then Lilith said the same thing to him when she was about to kill him. That was really cool.
I actually missed him saying it to her.
Oh, when he captured the woman and he was having a dialogue with her while
I
she
know
was
what you're
in the
talking about. I just
bathtub.
missed it.
Sorry, what?
I said, I know what you're talking about. I just missed it. I heard her say it, but I never heard him say it.
Yeah, the woman in the tub was saying, "Oh God," or something like that, and the guy said, "There is no God here, only me."
Yeah, that was
So
part of his psychological bullshit that he would probably tell all of his victims. Is that pretty much it then for you?
as far as favorite scenes go, yeah.
Okay. And my favorite scene was the serial killer moment. The final wraparound moment. That just was done wrong.
That was the worst scene.
Um, I can forgive plastic legs in the very beginning, but Because when you're having an independent movie, you're not always going to have a budget for like the true practical effects. So you got to come a way for dismemberment in a way that is Dollar Tree acceptable. But I enjoyed the entire serial killer moment. The guy playing the serial killer, he had a way about him that was likable and yet unlikable. So he was a believable character, and it was probably the strongest story on the board. So that being said, this was a terrible movie. I like seeing Felissa Rose because I do believe that she does like playing a badass whenever she shows up in films these days. But I wonder if it was almost a wasted effort. So
okay, now I'm curious about that movie Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, she was so young in it and quite amazing. So
ooh, I'm looking forward to it.
Alrighty, so at the end of the day, I'm glad that we got through it. Hopefully.
Who's next, anyways?
I totally agree. I totally agree with you, Ron. If you're looking to watch this movie, if you like Felissa Rose, maybe give it a one-time watch. And if you can forgive a lot of things, watch it. If you don't like independent movies at all, in any shape or form, I don't think you should watch it. But let us know down in the comments whether whether you agree with our thoughts on this movie. Even I did not like this movie, so that's saying a lot. I'm normally a crusader for independent movies.
You're a crusader for shit movies.
I'm a crusader for good B movies.
Well, truth be told, Dave, there was not one movie you subjected us to that was worse than this one. I forgot the title, something about a black guy with a killer penis or something like that. What was it called?
That was at least comical, at least. I wish they could have done it better, yes.
Yeah, but to me personally, at least this movie was better than that one. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Thanks, Tammy.
I subject those people. The reason why I subjected you guys to it is because it was a strange one. And whether or not it was a bad movie, and I knew it was a bad movie, I don't even call it a good movie. But it's a laughable one. This one
that's why you always tell everybody it's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites because it is the strangest blaxploitation movie I knew. And
what movie?
That was the
I forgot the title.
I forget the title at the moment, but it was a blaxploitation movie from 1974.
I think it was called something Charles. I don't know.
That piece of crap we watched? That was horrible.
Soul Vengeance.
That was worse than this movie.
Okay, yeah. Welcome home, brother Charles.
Ah,
Well,
yeah,
it was called Soul Vengeance on my DVD.
that was horrible.
Ah, yeah,
That
it
was
says on
horrible.
Wikipedia, welcome home, brother Charles,
Welcome
also
Home,
known
Brother
as Soul
Charles, a better name
Vengeance.
for it, because Welcome Home, Brother Charles sounds like a stupid movie, whereas Soul Vengeance sounds like a cool fucking video game or a cool
Well,
movie.
and let's not talk about Ron's favorite movie with the Circle of Shit.
My favorite movie is called Star Wars. Okay, I did not choose that movie. I will never watch that movie. That movie doesn't deserve to exist. Do not put my name with that movie at
I'm
all.
sorry, which movie?
I'm not gonna say it.
I will not subject us to that movie again.
The other dumbass I saw it 3 times. I'll never see it more than once, and I'm sorry I saw it the one time.
Okay, I really don't know what movie you're talking about.
Good. You don't want to.
Okay. Oh wait, is it maybe Salo?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, I remember. Okay, I didn't watch it, but I remember Kroll really hating on that one. And okay, based on what I heard, it's for a good reason. I don't really think I need to see that one.
Well,
Smartest thing you've ever said.
Well, Dave knows which one I hate the most.
Oh, she hates
If it isn't Salo, then I don't know what that says about you.
Pussy.
I
Funny the Killer thing.
Okay, but Salo is the most disgusting thing in the fucking world.
That
it was
one was
based
disgusting,
on and it was based on reality. So how could that not?
Oh.
But
The
in
other
any
one-
case, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion.
I'm sorry. Before we finish, I would like to say one more thing. Since I. Oh, what's that noise? I'm getting some strange echo of my own voice. What's going on?
I don't hear it. I don't hear you, Echo.
Well, Dave and Tammy have muted themselves. I think it's something on your end, Crow. I don't know.
Well, I don't hear it, and only you do, so it's probably on your end.
I heard it too, but I wasn't going to say anything. But anyways.
I hear it too, but I don't know what it is, so whatever.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, so hey.
Oh, well, okay, I will just say what I was going to say. Since I didn't expect this Lilith movie would receive that much hatred from you guys, I was going to dedicate this discussion to a good local friend of mine who I originally watched this movie with, and she is also someone I recently received this owl figure from. As you have probably seen, I always show a different owl in our discussions, and yeah, this was given to me recently by that very good friend of mine. And for those who don't know, owls are one of the symbols of Lilith. So yeah, I thought it would be interesting, and yeah, that friend is one of the people with whom I originally watched this Lilith movie a while ago, and she is also the one who made this Total Evil doll for me, which I have probably shown before, and
is that the one that you were supposed to hang out with today?
Yes. Yeah. So I was the one who asked for this discussion to be moved 1 hour earlier than we usually go because I thought I might have a meeting with that friend and the rest of our group, but it it ended up being postponed. But yeah, anyway, yeah, she also made this doll for me, which also appears in Brandon Farmer's movie Amityville webcam. When I appear on webcam in that movie, this doll appears with me too. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So yeah.
Okay. On that note, I'm glad that this discussion is over, and will be. I believe it's Tammy that's next, and then myself. So,
I guess we're doing a double feature.
what double feature of?
How soon we forget.
Oh, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I guess it
So,
was like a consensus that everybody wanted to continue with it.
well, we can do that if you want. If you want to choose something different, that's up to you. If you had something else in mind, we can always do something else.
Yeah.
Up to you.
No, that's all right. If we want to continue with it, that's fine.
Okay. Well, then we will do. Let's see. So we've done the first and second one. So we'll do at World's End, and then wasn't it on not on Stranger Tides, but Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Well, yeah, I thought we were going to 3 and 4, then.
And how come we're doing 2 at once?
To get them out of the way.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. So look forward to At World's End and Dead Men Tell No Tales next week Sunday. So
You okay, Boris, or is that too much to watch?
Well, I'm just looking them up. They are over 5 hours altogether, but I guess I'll manage.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you end up watching one like before, and then one like on the weekends or whatnot when you do.
Yeah, I guess I'll be doing something like that.
Well, hey, if it makes you feel any better, I'm going to have fun trying to watch 2 of them because of my work schedule. So.
Yep.
Sorry, what did you say?
She had a fun time having to watch some of the films for one of the films for Monday she ended up watching last night, so I'll be watching Monday's film on my own while she's sleeping later. So
No, I was meaning it's going to be fun for me to watch 2 of them because of my work schedule.
Yep. So we'll have to get it in during the week, so sometime, probably. But in any case, like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully everyone's has a good afternoon. And we'll see you next week here on.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Say good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh. Alrighty. End the stream.